Today is my 10 years testicular cancer free. Sorry, that was a loud clap. Today was my 10 years cancer free. I wanted to make this video for a lot of reasons. A lot's happened over 10 years. I wanted to start having a platform that I can talk to you guys about life. Sometimes life is wild. The last 10 years since I've had cancer, my life has been a roller coaster. I like to call it tumultuous in the best way possible. It has been up and it has been down. There's been all sorts of curveballs, but I'm thankful to be here at the end of the day. My journey makes me who I am, and I wouldn't be able to be here, share this with you, and hopefully inspire some of you just to keep pushing, keep going, keep seeking your dreams. I wouldn't be able to do all of that if I hadn't gone through what I did. So I kind of want to walk you guys through what happened, how it was treated, and how I ended up here today, and a little bit of what the last 10 years looked like. So when I was 20 years old, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. I was off on holiday for Christmas break, going back to college. I was pre-med anthropology at the time. I wanted to be a trauma surgeon. So I was about a week into the semester. I had organic chemistry 2 and linguistics and Spanish and all the chemistries and biologies and all those things. I think I was taking like 22 credit hours at the time because I was crazy and young. So I remember I was with a significant other at the time, and that significant other was going into the shower, or I was going into the shower. My significant other had to use the bathroom. So I got out of the shower and I was just sitting on the couch. And I was sitting there, and many of us like to feel ourselves, which is sometimes good, just kind of feeling down in my groin region. And I just kind of felt something a little odd. And I thought, that feels a little odd. Maybe I should get that checked out. But I was so busy with school and work. I was a cosmetologist at the time, cutting hair full time. And I remember the next day I went over to my mom's house. My mom lived close. I was from Toledo, Ohio. My mom was 10, 15 minutes away, and I loved my mom to death, so I spent lots of time with her. So I remember being at my mom's house, and I said, Mom, I should probably go to the doctor. I might have cancer, just joking around. But really in my heart, I think I kind of already knew. So my mom said, Spence, you absolutely have to go to the doctor. She calls me Spence. So I called the doctor, and the doctor told me it was going to be 3 weeks. They couldn't get me in until around January 26th of 2013. So I said, oh no, my schedule's crazy with school and chemistry and everything else. I said, I can't do that. How about I call you back this week when my schedule clears up? So I went that whole night. It was Tuesday around 11 a.m. And I said, you know what? I should probably call again and see if they had any cancellations. It just feels weird. And I couldn't quit feeling it. I couldn't get off my mind. I knew something was wrong. I felt okay though. I had been tired. I had gone through testing the last 6 months before this for narcolepsy. I kept wondering, why am I so tired all the time? I can't stay awake. And I kept thinking, am I depressed? Am I stressed? Am I not sleeping enough or eating well or exercising? But I was a college cheerleader. I was exercising pretty regularly, eating pretty good. I didn't drink at the time, so I really couldn't think of a reason why something was wrong. So anyway, I called the doctor, and I had a really amazing nurse practitioner at the time. And I called her and I said, hey, I have this. She immediately said, Spencer, you are not going to class today. You are coming into the office, or I'm calling your mom and making you, because she took care of our whole family. So I stubbornly went into the office. So it was about 12 o'clock at this time. I had class at 1. She feels it. It was my left testicle. And she said, we're going to do an ultrasound. So I did an ultrasound the next day. I ended up going to the urologist on Friday with my mom. And I already knew at this point that something was wrong. So the urologist walks in and he says, you got it. And I said, the big C. And he said, yep, it's cancer. And I said, oh shit. And I remember looking at my mom, and in my mom's eyes, who's my hero? My mom's been through more in this life than people could go through or should go through in their entire lifetimes. I could see her eyes welting. I could see that she wanted to cry, but also she was trying to be strong for me. So I didn't cry. I looked at my mom and I said, and I remember I grabbed her knee and I said, we'll be fine, we'll get through it. And she said the same thing back to me. And my urologist said, you're going to surgery on Wednesday. And this was Friday. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have school, I have class, I'm trying to be a doctor. How can I do all of this? So here comes Wednesday and I go to surgery. My whole family is there. They made shirts and did all the things. And I was blessed. I was blessed to have a family like I did. And a cheer team like I did. University of Toledo cheer team. My coach Libby, all of my friends at the time were incredible. Raising money, doing all of the things. So I go into surgery and I was a little scared. The big choice was removing the left one and whether or not I did radiation or not. So that was kind of the only choices I had. And there were things that we'll talk about later on in other videos that I wish I would have known that I know now, since being a medical provider myself and treating some of these things. But anyway, so surgery goes good. I come out, just me and a good old righty now for the last 10 years. And I went through 6 weeks of radiation after that. And that was rough. I remember my surgery was basically like a C-section almost, except vertical, diagonal. So no backflips for 6 weeks. I remember that was very difficult. And I healed pretty well. My family was there for me. I spent time with my mom. And it got better. And I went to radiation, which was actually kind of interesting. I went every morning at 7:30 a.m. to Flower Hospital in Toledo. And I sat in what they called the aquarium room with a big old fish tank. And I met some of the, greatest people I've ever met. Most of the men were in their 70s or 80s, fighting prostate cancer, lung cancer. Some of the women in there were breast cancer patients. And I was the youngest one. And the experience was incredible. Obviously, I wish I didn't go through it at all, of course, and I wish all of those people couldn't go through it, because, cancer is horrible and it affects a lot of lives and takes a lot of lives. But we had conversations every morning. I'd get my warm blankets, I'd do my radiation treatment, and then feel awful for the rest of the day. And I couldn't lift anything because of my surgery. So my mother would have to drive me to school, my college campus, walk me in with my books, and then set me down at my class and then leave because I couldn't lift them. Or sometimes she'd put them on my back and then I'd trot into class and then have a friend take my books off so I could study. Mostly I slept through class. My teacher would come up and tap me on the shoulder and say, hey Spencer, here's the notes, and he'd kind of slide them to me, being sly just to be nice, because he knew I was trying. So my surgery went well, I recuperated pretty well, and the last 10 years have been wild. I ended up graduating with my bachelor's. I switched over to nursing because I was scared if I was going to die that I wouldn't finish my degree first. I went through the nursing route, so I was a nurse, a float nurse, ICU nurse, ER for a few years while I was working on my master's to become a family nurse practitioner. I was a family nurse practitioner from 2018 until now. I've practiced in Ohio and Washington and Florida, and some of these experiences have been incredible, and I've been able to save lives and touch lives like some of my providers did for me years ago. And I've lived all over the place. I've laughed, I've loved. It has been a wild ride. Cancer does, though, leave you with remnants. I guess it's the best way I can put it. I have to be on shots for the rest of my life in medicine, and I have some numbness still, some goofy nerve stuff. My bowels have tried to kill me 3 times now for, a couple side remnants and complications of radiation therapy to your pelvis. I still have my tattoos, which you might be able to see. I have one here, and then 12 more across my sides in my belly from where the radiation machine would line up. So that's a little bit of my journey. And I'm going to tell you guys more. I have lots more videos to come. Ask me questions and I'll answer them. But I just want to take a minute and show a little bit of what the last 10 years have looked like for me. From traveling across the world, Thailand, Switzerland, the Caribbean, all over the United States. I wanted to show my circus career and my doctorate career and what I do with my life, my animals and my family, and I just wanted to be thankful with you guys. And my big goal of the video is for you guys to know that life is so short. Whether it was my own life that was potentially taken, or the ones of my patients who I've diagnosed or treated with cancer, and some of them who have lost their lives. But it's that life is so short. Do whatever you want. If you're not happy when you wake up one day, change something, or make a plan to change something. None of us are truly stuck in anything. And if you feel like you are, one micro step is all you need to do. One little step every day, and eventually you won't be there. I know it's not, this fantastical advice, but it's how I live my life every day. So God bless. Ask me questions if you have any. And let's celebrate this 10 years cancer-free. And let's, take a minute to send prayers or thought for all of those that don't make it to their 10 years or their 1 year. My aunt who passed of ovarian cancer, Ann, didn't make it very far with ovarian cancer. My Uncle John, who had brain cancer. My grandpa, who had liver cancer. A good celebration, my Aunt Barb, who was one of the shining lights of my life, had uterine cancer and survived. But there are many others who don't. So hug your family members, take care of yourselves, feel your genitals and your breast, do your regular exams, follow your primary care provider's advice, and appreciate today, because you never know how long life's gonna last, and it's too short for all of us, but definitely too short for some.